Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we are back coming at you live from not so sunny Scotland. The Scottish Falcons, episode 13, and a special treat for AFN International Saturday Scrimmage 5, because for the first time, we've been waiting so long, it seems, but we have some real football to talk about. So, yeah, thank you, God. So before we do get into that, there is something that I do want to discuss with you. So just a couple of updates in relation to the future, or not just of the Scottish Falcons show, but of the AFN International brand. So we thank you first off for your patience this week, because there's been a few teething problems, technical issues going on behind the scenes, but we're through it now. But what we will be doing in the future, we will be vetoing the Wednesday show for now. We will still be going live every week, Thursday and Saturday, 3:30 Eastern Time, 8:30 Greenwich Mean Time. But just gives the guys a little bit more work-life balance, a little bit more time for ourselves as well. But we'll still be bringing you the talking points, all the hype for the games and all the rest of it. So we thank you for putting up with the issues this week, but rest assured it's not the end of anything. We're only just getting started. Before we do get started, Des, how are you, my brother?
Yeah, well, yeah. So I've got the energy drink effectively intravenous. I've literally got that getting into my veins because I've been to work today. I'm working on 3 hours sleep. So I had I effectively got about a half-hour sleep just before the game last night.
No, I remember you saying in the chat, Maggie was like, "Oh, we're going live," and you're like, "What? No, I've got in my bed."
And then I think it was like 2:45, 10:03 that the game actually, nearly it finished, and I went to my bed, probably tossed and turned, really thinking about everything that we'd seen. Tossing and turning, and I think I probably got to sleep about 4 o'clock, and I think I was up at 7 this morning. So, 40-mile journey to work, and I mean, to be fair, I think I done okay at work, but But I've moved upstairs. That's why I'm in one of my other bedrooms, because if I really need to crash out, I can crash out in the sofa. Or I just fumble next door and just collapse on my bed. So
sofa bed set up in the office, we like it. But these are the joys when you're a British fan. I mean, I was wired as well last night after the injury and everything, which we'll get into and talk to in a little bit more detail. But I was wired to the moon. So I was sitting playing some college football until like about 6:30, because I sent you a couple of messages just before I went to sleep. And I slept in tonight, woke up, and my first thoughts were, right, how's the boy doing? First off, what's this injury? What's happened? But no, there's a lot of good points to take from last night's game, but yeah, it didn't end the way any fan would want it to. So yeah, let's start off with that. So yeah, as I say, prayers up. It was a nasty hit. We don't know too much about the specifics. Not too much has come out yet, but I've got a couple of photos here. So yeah, Maurice Morris, Detroit Lions safety. He went down. He was carted off of the field. We did see, shout out to the staff at the Bens, the medical staff, the players, the coaches, everyone, because as you see, a great show of solidarity there from all 22 on the field, going around the Falcon, giving up prayers. Just the quick response. Also, Coach Morris meeting with Dan on the 40, just going, no, in terms of solidarity, let this game is over. And on the positive side, though, we do have one that we did see. I don't know if you can make that out there, but he says, "Amen, amen. I'm walking. I'm blessed," and he essentially thanks the prayers, the quick actions of the staff, and everyone that's been sharing his thoughts. So he is okay. He took a bad one, but he looks like he's going to be okay. So we do wish Maurice Morris a speedy recovery, because that was scary. Des, as I say, we were watching it live, and that was a really scary moment. We knew, even with 13 minutes left, that obviously that there was no more snaps to be taken. But obviously, tell us a little bit about where your headspace went in that moment.
Well, I mean, when you seen obviously you caught some of what was happening. You knew there was a player down. Your first thoughts is you say to yourself, "I'm hoping it's not an Atlanta Falcons player, because that's where your affinity is."
Yeah.
And like when I look back on it, obviously I rewatched the game when I come in tonight. You can actually see the players reacting to what's happening. But when I really seen it was serious is when I seen the players kneeling down, and then at that point, effectively, I thought back to the Buffalo Bills player.
Yeah, Damar Hamlin.
Yeah, because again, I remember that was a game. I think it was the Bills, and who were they playing?
I want to say it was Cincy.
It was
Maybe
a
the
big
Bengals.
game. It was a big game, so I was watching it live. I was actually lying in bed. It was a late night again for me, and I had it on, and I watched that live. But when you see the players kneeling down, your first thoughts are, I hope this guy's all right. I hope he's okay. Forget the sport, forget anything else. All you're thinking about is if he's okay, and prayers to him. But then you think about his family are watching this, or maybe in the stadium watching it, and what they're going through. I mean, as I say, it's preseason. I've had the chat as well about Kirk and Michael Penix not playing because of injury. Because these guys are fully focused and they're 100% and they're fighting for their football career. But that just all panned into significance when you see that the ambulance coming on and everything as well.
Yeah, and I mean, that's something that you'll see at every level. Shout out Maggie, boss lady in the building, rise up, big season coming. But yeah, there's some things that are bigger than football, and at every level, I mean, the first thing that happens is you're a player, you're used to seeing the big hits, so you go, oh fuck, and then you look again, and if the boy's not moving or if he's seizing, I heard from Blackberry that he was seizuring on the field. So yeah, when something like that happens, the first thing you do, it's lids off, take a knee, because some things are just bigger than football. And again
with that, when I was lying on my bed, I was just constantly thinking about the guy. I mean, and that's the spirit of the football. I've never met the guy, I'll never meet the guy, but we're brought together with such a terrible event. And literally before you know it, you're saying a prayer for a guy you're never going to meet, you've never met, just down to the fact of sport. I would also again give a shout out to the Atlanta Falcons. I think they handled the incident fantastic. I know that a lot of the medical staff that were closest in the Atlanta Falcons sideline ran first when they seen what was happening on the pitch. And again, as you say, Dan Campbell and Raheem Morris, and Dan Campbell's come out and said, and saying some amazing things about Raheem Morris. And effectively, I'm pretty sure how it went was Raheem Morris walked up to Dan Campbell and said, "This game's not continuing. Let's just call it quits." It's and then as we're watching it as well, we don't know what's happening. We know there's an injury. We don't know there's a bad injury. We haven't seen we've seen the ambulance and all that. And again, you're just thinking the worst. And then, like any fan, you think to yourself, they just can't continue this. You know what I mean? Because you could see the players. You could see Dan Campbell. Dan Campbell was sitting at the sideline, and he looked as if he was in tears. You know what I mean? This is a guy. I mean,
it speaks not just to his coaching, but to his manhood, and that's a whole lot of man. So I appreciate Coach Campbell as well. As I say, if we didn't have Brick and he wanted to come BDC, that's another conversation. But no, he's a good man, and
at the
I
end of the
appreciate.
day, we're humans first.
Yeah.
Atlanta Falcons fans and players second. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
as I say, when you watch them all round coming together, it was really. I mean, I'm not a spiritual person, but it was something real. Again, some of these players have never met this guy, and just that terrible event, just bringing everybody together, and again for the NFL in New York to effectively agree to what was happening. I mean, it's a preseason game. You're there to effectively look at players and decide who you're going to keep and who you're going to let go.
And I would also say, like, in terms of speaking of New York and the big wigs, so to speak, it shows you that there's also been a hell of a lot more emphasis put on player safety, which, as we know, with the concussion lawsuits and things of that nature, it's been, especially the last 5-10 years, it's been especially prevalent to where the league needs to do something to kind of extradite the amount of players that are getting hurt. Because I was speaking with Maggie recently and saying that, like, in the last 5 years, the amount of injuries has gotten exponentially worse. So I'm glad to see that the league's still trying to shore up in terms of player safety and things like that. Because, as I say, yeah, they make the decisions to play the sport, but at the same time, it's not worth, like, some things are bigger than that. And shout out to Derek as well. They made the coach, the head coach, he's definitely made the right call. It's not about football at that point, and I wouldn't have cared if it was second drive of the game. I'd be like, no, you know what, we'll call it, and we can always reschedule and see you in maybe 10-15 days. Like, there are always ways that we can get around, but no, we're human first, 100%. Derek.
It's as I said, it's a preseason game. You know, I mean, what does it matter? As I say, you're only there to assess players.
Yeah.
And one of the players that you're wanting to assess has been down and he's been badly injured. And again, prayers to him. The fact that he's conscious. He's again. Detroit Lions come out and said he can move all his limbs and all that. So again, there's hopefully no issues with spinal injury or anything like that. So again, from my point of view, I don't care where he is as long as he gets back on the park.
Yeah. So I mean, if this show does get to you through the pipeline, Maurice, all we would say is don't speed your recovery, because it's something we also see a lot. So take your time. It's been a big hit that's laid you up. So I mean, as long as you take the time that you feel necessary, we speaking as humans first, football fans second, as we say. Just get the rest you need, get that thing rehabbed, and we're looking forward to seeing you back.
And again, I think we play the Lions this year, don't we?
Yeah, I think we do. I think it's week 7. I think.
Well, let's hope he's on the sideline for that game, and and he can thank everybody that helped out. But again, another thing to look at as well is that the benefit that the NFL have got is that medically they're so advanced. You see some of the. I think the doctor that's the Atlanta Falcons doctor, I watch a couple of his films, and I mean, it's a hospital that they've got in that stadium. There's X-ray machines, there's everything there. So again, shout out to the NFL for all the advancements. What I would say as well is that when I actually went to work this morning, I spoke to my brother. His words were, how did the game go? And I was like, well, it was abandoned after three quarters nearly. And he went, what happened? I says, a player get really, really badly injured. And he went, really? And I went, aye. I was like, and this is why I kind of have to laugh because they literally say it's a pussy's game. They all wear pads. It's a pussy's game. And I'm like, honestly, if you've seen some of the tackles that happen in an NFL game. You wouldn't say that. And
it's an interesting question because I started with playing rugby. I played 2.5 years of rugby, 4 years of basketball, and then 10 years of football. And I used to get it for a lot of my ex rugby boys are rugby for poofs basically. And I would go, oh, I tell you what, come along for a season or two. None of them did. I wonder why.
It's because effectively, if you look at rugby, and I thought about this when that happened last night, you look at rugby, and rugby, it's literally you're starting here and then you're trying to get a couple of yards.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas American football, you've got a guy who's literally running 20, 22, 23 mile an hour towards you, trying to make space, and your objective is to stop that guy in his tracks.
Yeah, so you've got to essentially put yourself through a car crash. Every one of those collisions, apparently, like they've done it on sports science. So shout out to John Brenkus, rest in peace. He's just passed away not long ago. But if you ever caught the sports science show, that was really interesting because they had the equipment to look into it, and the equipment, like basically a linebacker and a decent sized running back coming together is the equivalent of a small car crash. And that's happening on just about every running play. So the toll that is taken on these guys' bodies can't be understated.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, you see what happened last night. I don't think there was any other major injuries. I don't think on Atlanta Falcons side there was any big issues. But as I say, still prayers out to Maurice Norris. As I say, I lived the experience. Me, you, and Cam were effectively chatting at the time, and as I say, we seen the play clock go dead, and nothing was happening, no flags. So again, we didn't know. So a lot of we then started saying, "Are they abandoning the game?" And
we didn't know for sure until we seen Raheem and Dan talking, and we thought, no, you know what? There's still 12 and a half, but they're going to let this tick out. That was when we realised. But yeah, it was definitely a scary game to watch, and it's definitely given us a lot to report back on, especially kind of we're looking at things on a more, well, as you say, a more spiritual level as well. There's some talking points that you don't necessarily prepare for. I know you're prepared for them because we're watching a contact sport, but at the end of the day, as I say, there's levels, and this kind of thing really scares you. But yeah, now that we've kind of covered the injury and things like that, let's talk a little bit more about the game. So the good, the bad, and the nasty. So let's start with the positives, and shout out to QB3 Easton Stick, who played very well last night, and in one particular case at the end of the second quarter, he led a perfect 2-minute offense, 6 for 6 for 70 passing yards and a passing touchdown to Chris Blair. So yeah, we were talking a lot about Nick's man up days, and you can't really say better than that, can you?
Well, what I would say is that if we do eventually trade Kirk Cousins, I think Easton Stick has shown that he could be not a great backup, but I think he could be a good backup. I was surprised by how, because again, you go into a preseason game and everything's very vanilla, as I said in the last show. I mean, literally the offensive. Zach Robinson isn't bringing out his top 10% plays when he's playing Easton Stick. So,
no.
But it was noticeable that there was a lot of big, effectively passes. They were allowing him to throw the ball downfield, and again that was quite a surprise because you tend to find in preseason it's all about the third quarterback's going to effectively get a few small plays here and there, and then it's a running game.
Yeah. This is what I kind of said to you as well. Like, because it was pre-season and because there wasn't a lot of pressure on us, it was good to see them open up his arm a little bit. Because I mean, it also showed a little bit about what we said. Because I remember you saying at one point, if this is what we are doing with a vanilla bunch of third stringers, with the intermediate game in terms of screens, end arounds, comebacks, quick ins, that sort of thing. Bread and butter plays, we had a lot of that there. But I was glad to see Easton Stick throw a couple of nice balls, especially for a couple of the guys that we'll shout out later on. Because I mean, Dylan Drummond, number 81, he was balling all game. He was making some nice catches and really showing that breakaway speed. So yeah, I think that even it does open up a lot more sort of questions about that depth chart. Because some of these guys, as you say, playing for their careers here.
But again, we've seen this the last few seasons, that effectively everybody has their 53-man roster all stitched up, and then you play pre-season, and then these wee players jump out, or they don't jump out, or they make major mistakes, and you think to yourself, well, if this is, I mean, like as you say, Dylan Drummond, I mean, wide receiver 6. I mean, it's like, I mean, and again, some of the passes he got from Easton Stick was when Easton Stick was under quite a lot of pressure, and I don't think that was the actual play that it should have been. But yeah, Dylan Drummond just tended to be there at the right place to help out his quarterback. And again, that's a sign of a good wide receiver. I mean, he's not. I don't think he's. I mean, let me just have a look. How big is Dylan Drummond?
He's not a huge guy, but if I remember correctly, he looks a little undersized, maybe 5'9", 5'10".
No, he's 6 foot. 6 foot.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah, 6 foot, and there's actually a picture of him in the Detroit Lions uniform. So he's obviously played for Detroit Lions before. So,
okay.
But again, this is a time when these guys are going to make their name. So,
shout out to Mad Mike down in the chat. But yeah, as we say, yeah, a lot of this is the time where if you want to step up and make your name, this is when you have to do it. And Dylan Drummond's doing it the right way. And as I say, while we're talking about it, I'm going to pull up something that I see as a little bit of a negative. Yeah, Easton Stick was playing well, and yes, the receivers were playing well, but that backup offensive line is not polished enough. They were getting way too much time to get in and get pressure.
Easton Stick, I mean, again, when you look at the stats, I think it was like 14 for 18, 194 yards. I mean, the O-line wasn't allowing. They weren't stopping the pressure, and effectively. And again, you don't know. And I mean, I don't know the Detroit Lions team, so you don't know whether they were up against some starters or some second string, or you just don't know. But there was times in that first quarter, especially, where the O-line just crumbled. And that's concerning for me, because I think we're only 1 or 2 injuries away from being in some trouble when it comes to that. But again, what I would say is that if you look at the last few seasons, some of the players that you haven't even heard that have that literally were shadows in these games, they'll go, and some other new players will come in. Obviously, I keep on going back to what Kyle Smith said in one of his pressers a week or so ago, that the scouts and the staff at the Atlanta Falcons are constantly looking at all the other rosters, and they know roughly who potentially is going to get released, and they're analysing all these players. So, and
I feel like that's an assistant coordinator's job, is to, we're not just looking at the fringes of our team, we're also looking at the fringes of everyone else's team, because if there's guys on the fringes for us that won't make it, well, you've got a nice looking guy that we can maybe bring in that'll replace him. So yeah, like as I say, shout out to the assistants that are really doing their due diligence this off season, this pre-season as well. And shout out to some of the guys down in the chat again. Better late than never. We're thrilled as always to see you, Southside Ricky.
It's and then again,
no, exactly. And then again, as I've seen a new name down in the chat there, Trauma Locks. Sup, brother? Good to see you. And Mad Mike's saying about Easton Stick here as well. He was really impressed with his decision making. Yeah, I agree with that as well. I feel like he made a lot of good decisions, as you say, that intermediate sort of screens, comebacks, quick ins and things. So he's, especially when, as we say, the O-line wasn't the best last night. So under a lot of pressure, he was making these decisions. So yeah, if we do end up trading Kirk, Easton Stick's not bad.
And the thing that surprised me when just before the game started, they were talking about his that he'd played 4 games in the NFL, and again, I'm like, I mean, I didn't even know he'd played any games. So, I mean, he's effectively an NFL starting quarterback at some point. So, but yeah, I mean, yeah, there was nothing to worry about. I've watched worse from Taylor Heineke.
100%.
We spoke. I think whatever happened between Washington and Atlanta for Taylor Heineke, I don't know whether he was took away in a UFO and somebody was put in his place, because we never ever seen. I mean, in Washington against us, when he was playing against us, he beat us with the Washington Commanders. So, but then he comes over. He was woeful in preseason. I don't ever want to remember Felipe Franks taking quarterback snaps as well a couple of seasons ago.
Well, I'd rather not.
I mean, all I'm saying is I am so glad the Arthur Smith era is over, because
100%.
His love for a tight end was
concerning. Yeah, yes. Deeply concerning.
But yeah, I think Easton Stick. I think even as I'm probably at the point that if we put him into the practice squad, I think there's a good chance that somebody snaps him up.
Oh, yeah, I would agree.
And again, what we need to understand is we're analysing everybody else's teams. Every other team's going to be analysing them, and they'll be watching that game thinking that Easton Stick's he's a decent backup. What I would say as well is, when you look around the NFL and you see what's happening with like the Indianapolis Colts, that looks like a dumpster fire in there with Anthony Richardson and Daniel Jones, and they're having to play in the preseason because effectively they don't know how good they are, how good they could be, and they don't know who their number one QB is.
Yeah.
We're at a point where we're lucky enough that we know who our 1 and 2 is. And we've always knew who our 3 was. But if we're looking to... what I would say is, if you're Terry Fontenot and you're looking at that and a trade call comes in for Kirk Cousins tomorrow, you're probably not as worried as you would have been after watching Easton Stick last night. So shout out. I thought he bowled well. I thought he played well.
Yeah, I agree. And then there's a lot of obviously things that we want to get into. Ricky's saying there that the guy that impressed him the most is Helms. And we'll talk a little bit about Bam Bam a little bit later on in the show, Ricky, because we did see some good things from him too. And also a shout out to that one Falcons fan. Greetings from Atlanta. Greetings back to you from sunny Scotland, or not so sunny Scotland. Yeah, it depends what day you catch us on.
Old Scotland, yeah.
But yeah, as I say, let's move on. So yeah, we've spoke a little about Easton Stick. I'm going to give the boys that caught the passes their flowers here. So for Chris Blair, who caught the touchdown, there you go. And as we say, shout out to Dylan Drummond as well. So both those guys were really coming into their own. So yeah, both of them deserved their bunch of flowers for last night too. But let's talk a little bit more about this defense, as you guys wanted to. So The biggest positive for me was the two forced fumbles that became turnovers.
Yeah.
So one forced by this man, Arnold Debichetti, and another by essentially a backup linebacker. But shout out to Josh Woods. We see you too, bro. So yeah, defense, at least for the first 2.5 quarters, look to be okay. So surely the turnover numbers going up is good. But what are you hoping to see from this defense now that you've got a little taster?
Well, listen, if we are as I think I go back to let me see Caden Ellis. So Caden Ellis interview. He was talking about the defense, and he said he loves how when they talk about Jeff Ulbricht's defense, he says he loves how the defense is going to be fast and aggressive. And again, you've seen that straight away. DeMarco Helms, I mean, and again, this is where when something like that happens and you've got an injury, it kind of dampens it. But that first hit that Helms done was I mean, it literally. I seen on Twitter. I was thinking that Keanu Neal was probably bound down, going, "Oh my god," because that was. I mean, say what you want, but that guy puts his body on the line, and that's the kind of guy that you want in your team, because when something's going bad and your morale has dropped a wee bit, just one of the hits, and it just you could see it all, just everybody just lifting with that, and it was just constant aggression.
100%. And as we say, like especially after the injury worries and everything that was concerning us a little bit. I mean, it's good to see, as we say, the guy's back. He's making big hits, and yeah, we hope he's back with a vengeance, because he's not played. I mean, even before the injury, he wasn't playing with quite this much of a chip on his shoulder. So it's something that we definitely love to see. I feel like it's a really hard choice to make between DeMarco Helms and Xavier Watts as to who's going to be starting safety opposite Jesse Bates.
I think it's going to be. I think DeMarco Helms is still going to be a backup. I don't think you can play with that physicality constantly all the time.
No, that is a fair point. And just shout out to Ricky too there. We also had 3 sacks, if you want to talk about physicality. So it wasn't just the turnovers; we were getting after the quarterback, which we love to see. And again, we've had 9 in a season. So 3 in one game is good. It's good work.
But again, it's all coming from Ebiketie. You know what I mean? He had the last 5-6 games last season. He was on fire, and he started again this season. He is on fire. His step off at the snap is just it's to behold. And again, that effectively adds to everything else that's happened recently. And again, obviously he's been there a couple of seasons, so he knows how to deal with the pressure now. So it helps players like Jalen Walker, James Pierce Jr. It helps the kind of guys. So
as you say, while he's doing that kind of mentor side of things, like you take a James Pierce Jr.'s tenacity and you combine it with Arnold Ebiketie's first step, you have a really dangerous edge threat there. So I mean, as I say, what the guys are getting from Leonard Floyd, from AK, it's definitely going to make them more complete players. And if I was someone else, especially in the NFC South, that has to face us twice a year, I'd be getting concerned about what was happening in terms of Atlanta's front seven. So yeah, there's definitely a lot of defensive positives to take from it as well. And then on you go.
DeMarco Helms needs to come out and tell us what his real nickname is, because he get called Hitman Helms on the actual match by the commentators. And then obviously Jesse Bates, the third, calls him Bam Bam, which I think is fantastic. Bam Bam Helms.
I love it.
Fantastic. And again, it just goes to show that this is what he does in practice. This is what he does in training.
Yeah.
And to be honest, again, I tip my hat to him because he's putting his body on the line all the time. You're not getting past him without a fight, and that's to behold. And I keep on saying we've had these pre-seasons where we've watched lackluster defense and lackluster edge rush, and we've made excuses. Oh, it's only the postseason. It'll get better. It'll get better. Now we're at a point where we're watching it and we're thinking, yeah, just take this straight into the season, start of the season, and we'll be fine with that.
Yeah,
and that's before adding like quite a few of the starters, like as you said, Leonard Floyd. You know what I mean?
Yep,
He's
I'm going to pull him up there because, as you say, there's all you need to say there. He's wee quote summed it up. I'm a smoking gun. I'm going to go out there and prove that. He's embracing his role as a leader on and off the field. We love to see it. So I think he's going to have a massive impact on what we're building here. So yeah, shout out to Leonard Floyd because he's came in ready to really change things here. And yeah, as you say, when you're talking about front seven, they know how dangerous Pierce Jr. is going to be. He was getting doubles and triples all night, a la Micah Parsons or a TJ Watt. So yeah, that's why we didn't call his name a lot, is because he was getting doubled and tripled all night, because they know if they give him a one-on-one, he's going to eat every time.
But again, this is why we have to take the pressure off these rookies and any of these guys, because effectively, if James Pierce Jr. is getting double teamed and that allows Ebiketie or Jalen Walker to get a sack, then that's working as a team. This statistic where he's only had 2 sacks, he's had 1 sack, he's been again we can go back to Vic Beasley if you want, but effectively they work as a team. That's how they work, and the fact that they were double teaming him last night was allowing other players to get at the quarterback.
And this is what I was going to say as well. It is one of the things I've got singled out as a negative, but in terms of complementary football, doing what you can as an extra man to allow that guy a little bit of freedom, a little bit of space, a little bit of breathing room in some cases. And Nick Cubitt's led linebacker core. I feel like Nick himself played okay last night, but just okay. So I feel like if this is the guy that you want leading your linebacker core, I feel like you're going to be sorely disappointed, because I feel like, especially when the third quarter hit and into the fourth, the run defense was asleep.
I think the issue we've got is the first team is fantastic on defense and offense. The backups are okay, but the backups to the backups are not great at all. Again, I'll say it again. This is a time when some of these players have to come into their own, and I would say Nick Nash. Effectively, Nick Nash was probably one of the guys who stood out in the third quarter, who was making plays. At that point, we obviously had Emory Jones, and again, I remember them talking about bringing in Emory Jones about how he was a Jaden Daniels, similar quarterback to kind of Jaden Daniels, and they brought him in for the Commanders game just to play against the defense. Going on that, I think we're still struggling with mobile quarterbacks. Again, you could see that last night when the quarterback wanted to run. There was nobody there ready for him. That's probably where Troy Anderson and would have come in, and Caden Ellis with the speed. But yeah, that was you could see that woefully inadequate last night. And as I say, probably this is, when you look at the 90 players, this is probably the strongest we've ever had. But you still need to understand that a lot of these guys are undrafted free agents for a reason.
And then again, as I say, from the other side of the chessboard, we are able to step up the players we are playing because it's only pre-season. But the caliber of athletes that we are going to be facing is also going to come up because they're playing backups too. So yeah, and we're playing some dangerous quarterbacks and running backs. So if we are not going to step up against the run, then we might need to be rethinking that 12-5 a little bit.
Yeah.
Um,
As I say, I mean, Nick Kubitz is. I mean, again, he's an okay player himself. I don't know whether he's going to make it into the team, whether he's going to just be on practice squad or that. But I mean, he done as best as he could. We really. I mean, it was all rookies. It was as I say, the backups to the backups. So
yeah.
as
I say, we've kind of summed it up. It was still going to sleep in the second half. We do need to shore up that sort of letting them think behind the line. We need to get the pressure up a little bit. In the first half, it was great. We had Biketi balling out, and as I say, Josh Wood's helping out, and some of these guys. But it's something that we really need to look at sustaining for 4 quarters, especially when the regular season hits, because too often we've seen the Falcons. As I know, we could pull out a few games of note, which we won't do right now, but of where we can go for 3.5 quarters and then shit the bed. So we don't want that to happen again this year. And just one more thing that I did have on the negatives as well. I hate to tell you if you're a D. Alford fan, but yeah, Bro blew a few plays, including one of their touchdown plays that he really should have got up for last night. So he can still bounce back. It's only week 1, but how do you feel about D. Alford, Des, after that performance last night?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it was he effectively get caught with the scheme because you see the 2 men running and he get caught with one of the men step in front of him, but again, he should be learning. I mean, he's been in the NFL a few years now, so I mean, nothing against D. Alford. I think he's if you're D. Alford and you go undrafted and effectively you make it onto a couple of practice squads and then you have to go to CFL and then you come back and you actually get 2 or 3 or 4 years in the NFL. I mean, it's a successful career. He's done well. But
Yep,
I've always said that we need to be in a position where we've got a team. Again, no disrespect to D. Alford. I think in the right scheme, and I think probably in Ryan Nielsen's scheme, he was a really good player, and he'd done well in that scheme. But last year it didn't work well. But the defense didn't work at all. But
yeah, and that's the caveat to your so-called versatile players. Like, I know we've went on ad nauseum at this point about how versatile we are, but even your most versatile guys are still going to have a scheme fit that they prefer to play in. And I just feel like if he's got used to playing that scheme, then sometimes, as I say, you can go, oh no, he's this type of corner, so if we run this type of play, we can catch him. And I feel like that's what Detroit did. I don't think it's the end for D. Alford. He's a very nice backup to have, but I feel like he may still start in that nickel role, who knows? Because that's kind of almost looks like where he's more used to now, is that sort of nickel role. But as I say, it's all going to come down to the next couple of games as well.
What I would say is if you're an Atlanta Falcons fan and you watch college football, watch out and look out for the best cornerbacks in the college football, because if we don't draft a cornerback or somebody effectively to help AJ Terrell, apart from Mike Hughes, if we don't draft somebody in the next draft, it's the one thing that's screaming out now, I would say, in this team.
I would say so too. Another lockdown corner, another guy with some length, maybe 6 foot, 6'1", 6'2", someone like that. There's a couple of bodies I could mention, but again, we're just going into another season of college football. So, but yeah, that's a conversation we can definitely have. I love to do sort of breakdowns of college guys. So if you do want us to do that and break down some of the corners that are in college, drop some red and black in the chat. Me and as I say, the boys can go back and have a wee look, because as I say, corner's something that I feel like is definitely lacking outside of AJ. So yeah, as I say, we're more than happy to do that for y'all and take a look at kind of what defensive backs we could maybe be looking at. Obviously, you can take out the first round pick, but there's still some guys down the board who might do some damage this coming season. So, as I say, yeah, there's not many places we can improve, but cornerback would certainly be one. I'd agree with that.
Aye, yeah, it's the one thing that's screaming out now. I mean, who knows? I mean, obviously they extended Caleb McGarry, saved quite a bit of money. I think we've got about 14 million in cap space, I think, at the moment. So yeah, I mean that'll get you a healthy, a decent veteran cornerback. So
definitely.
Who knows? But as I say, Mike Smith, Mike Hughes will be a decent player, but I think we need somebody that's effectively turned it on in college, somebody fresh, that we can help AJ Terrell. But apart from that, I think the defense was I'm optimistic about the defense, and again, most of them were backups. There was a few starters there. So again, all the comments that we don't start starters. Well, Ebike's a starter. Taquan Graham was there, and he done a few decent plays. You know what I mean? Although they're not.
Because again, that was one thing. Because I was surprised to see him, Des. I mean, we'd read on the report that he was limited in practice, so to see him come out in bowl was fantastic. That was a nice surprise. And then Southside Ricky's throwing something into the hat. He'd like to see a shoe nose. And before the season starts now, as I say, maybe we could use that money to bring in a Christian Wilkins, but I feel like we've seen enough out of the front seven in the first game with 2 turnovers, 3 sacks. If I had the choice, if you came to me tomorrow and said, right, Christian Wilkins will sign for 14 million, or say one of the big free agent corners is available and they would sign for 14. If you slice it, I would probably take the corner. As much as I like Christian Wilkins, I feel like Brandon Dawless and Rook in the middle and Morgan Fox, I feel like we need to give them their chance. So I feel like I would, if I had the choice, do you take a nose or a corner? I would still go corner. How about you, Des? When he throws nose into the mix, how do you feel?
Yeah, I mean, well, you look at that secondary, you're going to have possibly Xavier Watts, Jesse Bates, DeMarco Helms, AJ Terrell, Mike Hughes, D. Alford. You know what I mean? If you're an offensive coordinator, who are you going to put? Who are you throwing the ball? What position are you throwing? Who are you throwing the ball to? It's going in the direction of D. Alford. We've seen this last season. A lot of the offensive coordinators were effectively targeting D. Alford. We've got such a great secondary, but we've got such a. And again, I'm not saying D. Alford is a weak spot. I think he's played fantastic as a player. But in that secondary, what we've got, he is the weak spot, and coordinators are going to target it. And if 100%. We can bring in, as you say, a lockdown cornerback to help AJ Terrell, and have more Mike Hughes more as a backup coming on, and maybe for time to time, and bring in younger players and fresher players. You know what I mean? So that's my biggest worry, is that they're going to be constantly targeting D. Alford.
Yeah, because I mean, when you see AJ go against the better receivers in the league, like when you see him when we played Cincinnati, for instance, and he was up against Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, or when we played Dallas and he was playing against CeeDee Lamb, you'll see them try to shift these number one receivers to mismatch against Alford, because they know that AJ can still hold his own. But yeah, and then as Southside Ricky says, again, I do see what you're saying. We do need to be stouter against the run, and that's something we said earlier on in the show. The run defense, the they're lacked a little bit of will, a little bit of venom, if you will, in terms of getting in there and stopping the run. But again, that's something that maybe we can compensate for by having a Billy Bowman that can step down into the box, playing that nickel safety role. He can come down and mix it up a little bit more as well against the run. So, I mean, there's ways we can shore up, but I definitely see what you're saying too, Ricky. Having a big guy in there, a 330, 340 pounder, it would be nice. But yeah, I mean, there's ways we can all obviously compensate for that too.
I think that's why they brought Jack Nelson in. He's a big boy, but again, he's a rookie. It was a fifth round. He was a fifth round for a reason. You know what I mean? So, he's effectively going to have to learn.
Yeah, he will, and I'm sure that a lot of the rookies and you guys will. And there's a fellow Will in the building, so it's all just as I say, willpower. Hello, brother Reaper. How are you? Welcome to the family.
Hey, what's going on, man?
Nothing much, man. Just looking at this game last night, that was a crazy finish. But as I say, we're glad to see you on. So, what did you take from last night?
Oh man, like I said on a couple other shows, man. At the beginning of the game, I was upset with Zach Robinson at first because he was doing a lot of pass heavy shit. You know what I'm saying? Like down the field, I guess he was trying to showcase something, but as it got farther on to that 2-minute drill, he wheeled it back in, and I forgave him from early discretions. You know what I mean? So, but their defense was flying around all night. Their defense was flying around, and man. Their hell was on fire. You know what I'm saying? And your boy Hellum showed y'all he's playing for a spot right now. He say, I don't know if I'm gonna start, but I'm gonna be on this roster. So he's showing you he a big hit out there. You had man, a lot of guys showed up, man. Especially the wide receiver core. I like what the wide receivers were doing out there, man. They really made it tough out there for the coaches right now. So far, they showed a lot of poise out there, man. It was catching balls that was thrown to him, especially Drummond. Drummond put his name in the hat. Hey, man. Eight targets, 8 catches, man. He always found himself open. So, you know, man, there was a lot of great things I seen now, but, you know, I'm willing to see what they're able to add on. You know what I'm saying? The mistakes they make. We had a couple breakdowns in the defensive back side of the game. You know, where what it was, Michael Jackson let the receiver cut inside of him and get open on that same route. So
and as you say, like, there was a couple of issues from what I see. Well, like Mad Mike's saying here as well, and I don't know if this was something that you've seen, but the gap discipline was lacking. We need to control those gaps so that we're forcing these guys to find other ways around. And
if you talking about the run game,
yeah, we're not shutting the lanes enough, is what we feel.
I seen that later on in the game when the rotation started to slow down. When the rotation was good, they were stopping that run. They was gap discipline. They were stopping that run every chance they got. But when it got later in the game, yeah, we got a little lackluster because we were gasping for air out there. It wasn't so much rotations out there. But yeah, I can see what he's saying on that. But the part I seen about it is like communication, like the one where D Alpha got caught up on that touchdown on that fade route. The communication was bad on that. We ain't gonna even talk about how the referees not calling penalties. That was a straight pick move. He got picked. The man damn near jumped into his arm. So you know, it's just things like that where we control the thing that we can't control, like communication. Hey, you got the first guy out. I got second guy out. Stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Like,
control what you can control. Like, do what you can do. And I mean, I didn't see him myself, but there's a question here from Ricky. Do you guys know if Laquelle London played? Did you see much of him, Des or Will? Did you see him?
I don't think the name.
I don't.
Nothing.
I don't know. My bad. Go ahead.
Yeah, no. On you go, Will. You go. You're the guest.
I don't know if I seen too much. If he did play, you didn't hear his name a lot, so I had to go back and watch it. I go back and watch it on the Fire Stick, and really pay attention to like who played and whatnot. But as far as if he played, you didn't hear his name. You didn't hear his name a lot.
Yeah, I felt the same. Like I felt like if he would have been there in any real capacity, we would have heard. But yeah, there was just so much. I feel like we did a good job of rotation. We done a good job of getting a lot of these guys some at least a handful of snaps. So I feel like we got to see a good amount of a lot of them. As I said to Des earlier, I was glad to see Jack Nelson playing some right tackle. I seen that 69 in there. So that was good. But yeah, we just need to kind of keep it going as well. But yeah, for the second hour, what we're going to do, you know what we do on Saturdays. Will's already in the building, but if anyone else wants to come on board and join us, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the StreamYard link across the bottom there on the ticker, just while we keep chatting shit, if you will. But yeah, as I say, there's a lot still to be talked about, but generally, as I say, it boils down.
It might be best for you to like drop it down. You dropped it down in the chat. Okay.
I put it in the chat. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I'm about to say sometimes they don't know how to work that tilt. It's better to drop it in the chat.
Ah, great, cool. Well, it's out there now, so if anybody wants to jump on, but yeah, as I say, like for me, guys, it boils down to one statement, and it's especially as we ramp up the pressure, and it's down there in front of you. So the team does look good in a lot of ways. There's a lot of positives to be had, but we need to be able to sustain it for 4 quarters. And I know, as you say, it's more to do with the rotation and things like that. But I feel like we've finally got a team that are built for a full game. Do you know what I'm saying? So I mean, you can have your say on that as well, guys. I'll go with you, Des, first. But do you think we have a team that can finish out games now?
Yeah, well, we need to. It remains to be seen. We need to see what the season what happens in the season. What I would say is that we've went from, as I said earlier, we've went from preseason games where we had Felipe Franks doing quarterback play. You know what I mean? So it just felt with Arthur Smith that he was just trying daft, stupid routes and bringing in players to see if they could do a certain play and it didn't work. When we're talking about D. Alford, I think we're at a point now where if D. Alford wasn't in this team, I don't think a player can just walk in from the Canadian Football League and actually make our 53-man roster. I think the roster is a lot stronger. When you look, I mean, like last night, I mean, you look at Chris Blair, had a couple of great plays. I mean, he's been with the Falcons since 2023. He only got his first NFL pass, I think, in one of the 3 games with Michael Penix Jr. And that was his first ever NFL pass. A pass catch. So last night he played really well. He looked really good. You look at Dylan Drummond again. He stepped up and he was there for the quarterback when the quarterback was under pressure. So you're looking at these kind of players, and these are players that effectively were on the sideline. They were just a name. You would look at a sheet and you would see a name. Now they're starting to come and they're starting to learn. And I think as they're learning Zach Robinson's plays, they're starting to build up and get better. And again, then the third quarter, you had Nick Nash who stepped up as well, who played really well. Yeah. So again, there's going to be a lot of these players that don't even make the practice squad. So that's where we're now at the point where we are building a stronger 53-man squad. We would say, but obviously, when you're looking at the O-line, the backups to the O-line, if we've got 1 or 2 injuries in the O-line, there could be some issues, because I think the standard of the O-line is so strong that if you actually go to one of the backups, we've seen in the first quarter how much pressure the Easton Stick was under. So, I mean, I'm optimistic. I think it will be a good season. I think we should be positive about what we've seen last night. But it's only the first preseason game. Next week, there's going to be players that we haven't even spoke about that are going to have a great game as well. And then at that point, we're forgetting Chris Blair, and we're talking about Nick Nash, how well Nick Nash done, or how well Dylan Drummond done. So again, this is the benefit of preseason.
Yeah, I agree with you. There's a lot of benefits that can be taken, and obviously, as you say, a lot of the guys that played well, a few concerns as you get into some of the backups and things like that. But yeah, as you say, a lot of goods to take from the first game, especially with it being so early as well. And what into it, Big Will?
All right, say that again, man.
Yeah, just in terms of like what you think of the season to come, do you think this is a team that's built for 4 quarters of football?
I say from the stuff I see right now, we're leading towards that way. We're looking like a team that is built for depth. And any great football team, one thing they have is great depth. Because if an injury does happen, God forbid, you got somebody that can step in and it don't fall off. You see what I'm saying? Like, if we can build great depth, we can build a great team. So that's what I think we're working towards. And for right now, we off to a good start.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. As Des says, I mean, we've not been this deep this early, and then there's not just guys that can walk in from the CFL or the UFL anymore and compete as much for spots. So I feel like in terms of like your baseline for talent, that's where that's come up a lot more than where we've been in previous seasons, definitely. So again, yeah, I'm optimistic as well. I feel good in a lot of ways about it. But yeah, what we'll do now then is, as I say, it's been a good first hour talking about the game, any major talking points and things like that. We've dropped a link, but if you don't want to come on, then at least have your say. Keep the questions coming in the chat. And in the meantime, we're just going to start kind of looking forward a little bit. So obviously the next preseason game, you're talking about Tennessee, and the preseason scrimmage with obviously number 1 overall pick from the draft, Cam Ward and his Titans. So any early concerns about what the kid can do to us, or? And we'll start with you, Des.
Yeah, that's right. I've not really seen. I know on X there's been a few videos, but I've not really looked at them. I think he's wound it up in practice. Have they played their game this week so far, or?
I'm not actually sure on that one yet. To be honest, something I'll need to check if you can check it now.
Yeah, let me see.
But my thoughts on Ward were very much my thoughts about this entire QB class. None of them were ready. None of them were as pro ready as MPJ and certain guys from the last few years of classes would be. I feel like this year's been a little bit lackluster in terms of the quarterback position. Because, I mean, the only real names we heard about coming out were Cam Ward and Shedeur Sanders. One was a number 1 overall pick. The other went in the 5th round. So it really kind of shows you that, yeah, as I say, they're not ready as some have been. That's all I would say.
What I would say is, see when you watch 3 clips on Shedeur Sanders. I've not watched the full game, but I'll tell you, shame on you. The NFL teams that needed a quarterback, because effectively he seemingly done really well in his preseason game, and then you look at the Aints effectively taking Tyler Shocker in the 3rd round when Shedeur Sanders was sitting there waiting for them. So again, it's a shame on all these NFL players that didn't pick him up. These NFL teams that didn't pick him up, because seemingly he played really well. Tennessee's playing tonight, so it's effectively 12:30 in the morning our time. So they play the Bucks. So effectively.
I might actually watch that game. I might watch that game just to do a little bit of scouting and see what the kid can do. Because, admittedly, I've not read up quite as much on Cam Ward apart from the stats and obviously the skill set. But I want to actually see what he can do once he gets out there. So I might check out the game tonight. And another question or point here, rather, from Southside Ricky in regards to the defensive backs. He's saying if he had his choice, he'd take Helms as the starter next to JB3, use X-Man as the understudy and third safety and 3 safety packages. I like that. I think there's a lot of good you can get from that. Or as I say, or flip it the other way and have Watts starting and Helms as the safety 3. I think we're going to see a lot from both guys regardless. But yeah, it's not a bad position to be in.
I think the fact that you've got that choice where you're talking about effectively a rookie who's done so well at the training camp that you're talking about actually starting them. And again, I mean, Helms, 7th round, 224th pick. You know what I mean? And Terry Fontenot gets his arse booted off this fan base every minute of the day about how he's a bad drafter. You know what I mean? And he brought that boy in. I mean, effectively, the way I look at it is, see if you're sitting in the 7th round and there's somebody from either Georgia or Alabama sitting, just take them. You know what I mean?
You do wonder why. If they're still sitting there in round 7, though, it does beg the question of why are they still sitting there in round 7. But for the most part, I'd agree with that.
Well, you look at DeMarco Helms. I mean, I honestly think this will be his breakout season. And when you look at when you've got your defensive coordinator talking about speed and intensity, and then you look at effectively the man that you would say is fast and intense, DeMarco Helms just fits perfectly into this defense. So I think he's going to ball out this season, and it's going to be a great 7th round pick for us.
I agree, and that's something that for all the people who naysay the drafting abilities of Terry Fontenot, they want to really take a look at that again, because look at Tyler Algier as well as a 5th round pick. We have proven that we can take day 3 guys and make them serviceable NFL players, because now that 5th rounder would start on 18 teams, possibly more. So,
but I remember when he came out, the effectively the stat that impressed Terry Fontenot was the fact that he had the highest miss tackles in college football the year before he was drafted. So you then look at that and you think, well, that's the kind of thing. That's the kind of thing that you're looking for. He came from, was it Baylor? Was it Baylor he came from?
I think it was Baylor. Yeah, let me just double check that. Yeah, it was Baylor. Yeah. Baylor Bears.
Yeah. So again, I mean, the fact that Terry Fontenot and the scouts spotted him, again, it's hats off to them. You know what I mean? So, but. I mean, I think DeMarco Helms is going to have just a fantastic BYU. That's right.
Southside, sorry, it was BYU. It wasn't Baylor. BYU.
I know it started to be.
So. That's it. Brigham Young. Aye.
It's going to be a defensive battle in their cornerback and their safety room. It's going to be a defensive battle. So, hey. It was a good start for game 1. I want to see how they correct their mistakes and come out in game 2 against Tennessee with the joint practice. You know what I'm saying?
100%. Well, it's going to be fun to see. But when you talk about the defensive backs, that's like, I know we teased that it was going to be one of the most fun, but I feel like this is even more of an interesting battle than what we thought. And that's one thing I will throw in, because I don't think we covered it just yet, is when we're talking about these preseason battles, one I wouldn't worry about is the kickers, because as I say, Lenny Krieg was sensational last night. Hit a 57-yarder without much stress. We know that he's got leg for days, but again, if you are worried about who's going to be the starting kicker, don't, because as I say, we have the international exemption, so we have no reason to cut either of them. We can be a 2-kicker squad all year. but you love what you see. You must love what you've seen for Lenny the Leg last night, guys. We'll start with you this time, Will. So, if you have a choice when it comes to kicker, do you have a preference, or are you just looking for best guy up? You still there, Will?
Yeah, y'all give me a minute. I'm getting this paperwork.
All good. Well, in that case, you go. You go first, then, Des. Well, he's sorting that out. So, in terms of kicker, do you really have a preference, or are you just more sort of the healthiest man in the role?
I think for me, it's monetary wise. If you're looking at Koo, you cut him, you save $4 million. But again, how important it is having that game winning kicker, and Koo's done that so often. So I think that's probably the reason why they brought in Krieg. Because he is an international player and they can keep him, but they don't need to. He doesn't go on the practice squad. They can effectively have him as an exemption on the 53-man squad, as far as I know. So effectively, we can have two kickers at any time. So I'm assuming they would have to then obviously put him forward as being a live player that for a certain game or whatever, but. When you look at what happened last year with Koo and how bad Patterson was when we brought him in, again, we talk about the issues with some of the backups, but if you know you've got Lenny Krieg as a backup, if Koo does get injured, you're not then at a point where you're having to force Koo to continue to play injured and effectively miss field goal after field goal and cost us games when you've got somebody like that as a backup.
Yeah, I would agree. And looking at Ricky's comment too, where he's saying he would let Koo ride it out, I feel like it started for me as obviously just being an injury relief. And it's obviously kind of grown a little bit from there. Like you were saying, Des, it's great to have a serviceable leg in behind if Koo's not up to scratch. But I don't, because of his proven track record of winning games for us, I don't want to give him his gold watch just yet either. Because, as I say, we've got that freedom. $4 million is a decent amount of cap to save, but at the same time, obviously, I don't want to cut him if he's hurt when he could still be there to make a contribution. And are you kind of in agreement with that too, Will? Do you feel like we should be maybe running with both kickers while we have that freedom, or how do you feel?
I think Koo is gonna have that spot. You gonna keep Lenny Craig on the exemption, so he don't count against that 53. So he's still gonna be on the roster in case Koo bumps into a bumpy road later on in the season. You got another kicker to fall back on, but we need Lenny Craig to learn how to kick with finesse. Not all kicks are 100 miles per hour. As you seen when he made the 57 yard, he made that when he tried to do the same thing on the 53, and then he hooked the kick. Some kicks you got to have finesse in, so we get him to learn.
That's what I tried to explain as well. As you say, well, good point, because he's a rugby style kicker, and he needs to learn the finesse of getting your foot round it a little bit more like some of these soccer guys. So I see completely what you're saying. It's two different styles of kickers as well, because I mean you've got the power kicker in Lenny plus the finesse and the placement of Koo. So I feel like we're in a great world, and for only $4 million savings, personally I would probably keep them both as well. But that's just my feelings on it. But yeah, keep the questions coming. As you say, we're just kind of free-forming a little bit here to close out the show. Or if you do want to jump on, as I say, the ticker's still pulling it across the bottom. So come on, have your say, join the squad, and all that good stuff. So,
I would like to obviously talk. Obviously, we know about the injury and everything, but it was on the play with Nathan Carter.
Okay.
Now, I think Nathan Carter, is he classed as a running back?
Last I seen the depth chart, he was listed as running back. Yeah.
What speed that man's got? See when he took the ball, literally he took the ball, and again, the speed was. I mean, I was really impressed. So you've obviously got Nathan Carter, you've got Carlos Washington Jr.
Mm-hmm.
Is that right?
Yep.
But yeah, the speed. Even the commentator mentioned about how quick he was when he got that ball. That show. I mean, go back and watch it. He just grabs the ball and then he's away. Speed was phenomenal. I was really, really impressed with that. What do you think, Will? Do you remember the play?
I do actually, and it was like one of those ones where I made a similar point when I seen Drummond on. I think it was it wasn't a jet touch. I think it was a quick comeback, and he's caught him in the recovery speed to just get that ball in his hands, turn and go. It was very, very similar in what I seen on that particular play. One more cut and he would have had daylight. His speed is insane, and that's like, I feel like it's something the Falcons always do, is build for speed. But some of these players this year have got some crazy wheels. Even right down the depth chart, which I love to see, especially at this point in the season too. So yeah, that's kind of how I feel about it. And how about you, Big Will? Like, in terms of some of these plays and the speed of some of these guys that are maybe a little bit down the depth chart, surely there's ways we can use that for sort of trick plays and things of that nature, sure.
Yeah, like I was saying earlier, we got a lot of speed and competition on this team, so it makes for better roster development and greater depth build. So, like I said, I remember the coach. This as a coach, this is what you want. You want tough decision when it comes down to making these 53-man roster. So, as these players come on and play their hearts out on the field, hey, make it tough on these coaches, man. Make it hard for them to tell you no. You know what I'm saying? So, like, come out here. I want to see them continue to come out here and compete and show what they showed Friday night. I mean, Friday night ended kind of badly, but you know what I'm saying. That game was very, very amped up. That stadium was amped up, and it was a preseason game, so the game was very entertaining. So
Yeah.
I just want to.
But to kind of throw on the other side there, I mean, me and Des were sitting in, I think it was late in the first quarter, and you were saying there's still no arses in these seats. I know it's pre-season, but I mean, you made that point, Des, about why. I mean, we've said it a few times on the shows since we started, but the level of support is going up, and we've seen training camp and things like that. So why were there still empty seats in the Benz quarter one when there was action being played? That would be my one question.
I mean, I got to say, it's my heart drops when you actually see the kickoff and you look in the stadium and the stadium looks empty. Mm-hmm. Now we know everybody's at the concessions or whatever. You know what I mean? And it's a full house. Well, you know what I mean? It's a full house, but it just looks horrible on the TV. It looks as if there's nobody at that game.
Yeah, because the first thing they going around admiring the stadium and concessions and all that. As you seen later in the game, it seemed like it had been filled up a little bit more. Like, you heard the noise and you heard all this, but it did look very empty early on in the game. You're right. Yeah.
I get it, and it's your first impression of the stadium. So when you're going like, this is Atlanta's new look, new vibe for the season, and you go in and there's people on their seats, you can see what we're saying. Like, I get that there's people in the concessions and admiring the stadium and doing the tour, but yeah, as I say, like, the ball's about to be kicked. Yeah. Get out there.
We've got a saying, and we discussed this in one of the shows: get your arses in the seat. That's all I'm going to say. See, as soon as it's coming to the kickoff, get your arses in the seat.
Aye, and another thing, like, from the Scots, like, half time isn't time for a sing song. That's where you go and grab your pie and get back.
Yeah, absolutely.
Good luck getting these Atlanta fans to do that, because that's all they do. They always late to the seats. That's what they do.
But it's like, you guys tailgate, so surely you've eaten already. So come on.
Well, wait till the Scots come across, and we'll show them how it's done. Get your arses in the seats.
That's right. Where's Will? Where's Des? We've got chicken for them. Oh, they've already been into the stadium. Aye, because we're watching the fucking game.
Aye. The cheerleaders are out in the concourse and they've had a wardrobe malfunction. I don't care. I'm watching the game.
Aye.
Hey, Southside Ricky say, do we honestly believe Nick Nash is going to really make the wide receiver room with Blair and Drummond having big nights?
That's a tough question. That is a tough question because I mean, that's wide receiver 6 and wide receiver 7 you're talking about now. So yeah, it's I don't know. I hope he does because I feel like we'd be foolish to cut him. But at the same time, someone's going to want him if we don't. I feel like that's a given. So I feel like we should hold on to him.
Then I want y'all to think about. This team is really gonna keep 7 wide receivers. So he got a chance to make it now if he come and shows himself. I mean, Drummond and Blair got a leg up right now, but he got time. He got time to come back and jump. You know what I'm saying? Jump back up there.
Yeah, I get it. And Maggie's saying as well about the fact that there's a lot to do around the stadium. So yeah, we can appreciate that. And was another special guest. There goes the neighbourhood. We've got a Patriots fan. Good to see you back, Louis. How you doing, mate?
I'm good. Got off work.
Good to see you, brother. How are your Pats looking? How did you feel about your first game?
Oh, he got a 100-yard touchdown return.
Oh, nice.
Travion Henderson, the rookie, the running back.
Oh, nice. I thought that kid looked nice. I'm looking forward to seeing you guys this season.
Scored a touchdown.
Nice.
Joshua Dobbs scored a touchdown.
Which has just not happened.
We blew them out.
That's good,
48 to 18.
That's good. That's good.
I'll tell you, Louis. I'll tell you what I'm looking forward to doing. I'm looking forward to coming to your stadium with the Goat Man's statue and lobbing a couple of cans of Iron Brew at it.
Walk in your trap, take over your trap.
Somebody said people are going to do that.
What I would like, Louis, I'm going to tell you. See, in Glasgow, there's actually the Duke of Wellington statue.
Yep, Duke of Wellington,
statue that effectively it's well known for having a traffic cone put on its head. Now, I'm going to, if there's any Jets fans watching, I want to get to a point where every time you wake up in the morning in the Patriots Stadium that Tom Brady, the Goat Man statue, has got a traffic cone on it. Because that's what that man deserves.
Let's make that happen, man. That would be sick. Like, just every time the police come round and take it down, just put it back up again.
Yeah, you got a new one now, Drake May.
Oh, well, do you know what? Yeah, I doubt. I'm not going to. I hate to predict the future, but I don't see Drake May ever getting a statue that we can defile. Although saying that, he handled us last year, so we still owe him a punch in the mouth this year for that. But no, I'm looking forward to playing y'all. I think it'll be a good game.
Yeah, we're a good team, man. We're a better team.
Us too. We're not the team you guys played in 2009, so it should be a fun game this year.
Was Gonzalez there in 2016 or 14?
5 years. Yeah, he would have been 16. He signed for us in 13. So yeah, he would have been there. But yeah, as I say, it's 9 years ago, and we see how much things change from year to year in the NFL. So
it's crazy.
It really is, man.
We weren't a good team before Tom Brady.
No, and a lot of people were saying you're not a good team now after.
We were 0-3 in the finals.
Mm-hmm. Well, and a lot of people's...
We lost the AFL championship game.
Mm-hmm.
Then we lost to the Bears. Then we lost to the Packers. We were 0-3 in the finals.
But it could be worse. You're not Buffalo. You didn't go to four straight and lose.
Buffalo went to 4 straight Super Bowls. We were the bottom team.
Mm.
The Dolphins had 2. The Jets had 1. The Bills were going to Super Bowls.
Well, let's hope what happened in New England happens in Atlanta, Because I don't.
That's
think
what we're hoping for.
I don't think you can say we're a great team before Michael Penix Jr. So let's hope he becomes our GOAT man. You know what I mean?
I hope so. Like, I'll give all love to Michael Vick and Matt Ryan, but I genuinely feel like that if anybody's going to get us this first Lombardi, it'll be Penix.
Did you see Colin Coward talking about? Was it Colin Coward? Talking about how he believed there was 2 teams that were looking to draft up to move up and take Michael Penix Jr.
No, I didn't actually. Who did
Yeah,
they mention?
He was talking about JJ McCarthy at the Vikings and how he believed there was nobody was moving up. Nobody was interested in moving up and taking JJ McCarthy. And he said, I knew at least 2 teams that wanted to move up and draft Michael Penix Jr. So that's obviously, I'm pretty sure he's got people in the background that knew what was happening. I think
and that's what Ricky's saying too. I mean, he's agreeing with you there. He's saying he thinks somebody would have grabbed Penix, and you're saying it looks like somebody was trying to make that move, but we just got in there first. And
well, what I would say is, if Penix is as good as I hope he is, the 180 million that we had to pay Kirk Cousins is worth it to give us our franchise quarterback and hopefully our Super Bowl.
Yeah, and I would pay it again if the Lombardi ring comes. I would pay it again.
Absolutely. Because he's come out and said it's not just one ring. He wants 2 rings.
Oh, I know, and this is the thing. Like, we can talk about dynasties, and I can go a little bit over the top, but I mean, I don't even want to replicate the New England of old. I want to build an Alabama dynasty in the pros. I want like 6-8 years where people are like, don't fuck with those Falcons. And that's
yes, sir.
Mm-hmm.
I just,
you still have Tampa Bay to deal with. Tampa Bay might be the best team.
Tampa Bay has been one of the luckiest teams in the South for the last 3 years because we had the lead. We had the lead all
Baker
3 years. We
Mayfield's
gave
the
it
best
up.
quarterback.
No, sir.
Mayfield's good,
No,
but
sir.
he's not great. I feel like we'll find that out this season. Now we've got a defense.
No, he's not
His luck's
great. I
gonna
mean,
run
in the
out.
conference though, when it comes to
okay.
like,
For now, we'll give him that crown now until we can take it from him.
I'm not giving him that. No, he's been lucky. He's resilient. He's resilient now.
Yeah. Until we take it from him, and that's week 1, bro. Week 1, we take that crown. He can have it for the next couple of weeks.
Tampa Bay didn't win the NFC South last year. The Falcons lost it. That's the difference.
Completely fair.
We were literally 4-2 in the conference, and we let it fall. So it was nothing to do with Tampa Bay. It was the fact that we let it go. We lost it rather than them winning it.
Yeah, and this is what I would say is we can look, and there's 31 other teams in this league, but I don't give a fuck about what they're doing. We need to handle our business before we talk about any other teams, you know what I'm saying? So that's how I feel.
Yeah, exactly. We just gotta finish. We gotta finish. Practice on finishing, man.
Yep, that's it. Practice what you preach. I mean, we're going at each other in practice, so keep that intensity and just bring it to bear on the field. That's all I'm asking.
And I'm saying now that obviously James Pierce Jr. is going to start some sort of riot in the scrimmage with Tennessee Titans. I watched a video the day from Twitter on every play done today. Last night, and he was double teamed in half of them. So effectively, that's a rookie, and they're already double teaming him. So that tells you exactly what you need to know what's going to happen with this man in the next 5 to 7 years.
Yeah, and I agree. Like as you said, Eds and Ricky's jumping on it too. We didn't lose. They didn't win. We lost. And that's where we need to show up. We need to stop leaving the South in the hands of these other teams. We need to not take our foot off their necks, and we need to finish. If we finish this year, then anything that happens come January is gravy. I want a team that's going to run the South and remind people who we are again. If we can't win the Lombardi this year, then I at least want to remind the fan base of who the fuck
make
we
the
are.
playoff. At least you make the playoffs. It's a start, right?
Mhm.
Do you know what I want? Well, I want to destroy a team. I want to effectively put everything that's happened in the past and effectively show what this team really is and destroy a team and actually show the NFL what this offense is all about.
So who's your week one?
Tampa at the Benz.
Oh, ironically, the best team in the conference. So that's a win. That's the game you should win. That's a big game.
The best team in the conference is playing against Tampa Bay week one. Yeah.
Let's let them start as they mean to go on. Let's kick the shit out of Tampa. Let's drop 40-50 on these boys. Let's
really
really
that.
This a Patriot fan, huh? Patriot fan.
And you know what? He's a frequent flyer. He's a brave boy because this is his third time on Falcons chat now. So
what he think the Patriots? He think they got a Super Bowl team. This shit on. They got a Super Bowl team. This shit on the Patriots.
Again, they need.
Louis, what do you expect from this team this year?
From my team?
Yeah.
Yes.
To make the playoffs.
So what you're effectively saying is the New England Patriots have went from winning the Super Bowl now that the fan base is now happy to make the playoffs.
We might even win the division.
Right. Okay.
Wow.
No, the Bills lost today. They lost.
How the mighty have fallen. How the mighty have fallen.
Oh no, man! Dynasties come and go, empires fall just as they rise, bro. But no, it's MD's. It could be your call in the East, but you need to get past Buffalo. And I think when real snaps come, Josh Allen's a dog.
They always lose to Mahomes. We know the narrative. I'm not worried about Buffalo.
But there is going to come a year, though, because I don't think Patrick Mahomes, I think he should be stepped down a little step in the GOAT talk, because last season he was not the guy. And I think this could be the year if they play Buffalo again. I think Josh is maybe going to beat them this year.
No, he's 0-4. My buddy's a Bills fan. We do this all the time, and I tell them all the time.
Listen,
it's always the same thing. You can't beat Mahomes.
Listen, see the quarterback neighborhood that's changed. There's new quarterbacks called Jaden Daniels and Michael Penix Jr. They're literally going to be the future.
And Drake May, unbiasedly.
Well, say it how you will, man. Cast it into the ether. I think Drake May is a good quarterback. I feel like we slept on him last year and didn't give him the respect that he deserved, and we paid for it.
Why? Because the Mario Douglas was our best player.
Yeah, we paid for it, though. I mean, you guys beat us last season, but we're not going to sleep on Drake May this year. And I think you're going to see a vastly different defense than you did last season as well.
You're going to see a different Drake May. We just beat the Commanders.
It's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to it. Well, as I say, I enjoy the heat coming on here with fans and just talking about it.
Is he counting this preseason win right now? That's what he's saying.
It counts, man.
What Jaden Daniels out there? Was Jaden Daniels out there?
Was that maybe for a snap or two?
He didn't play. Jaden Daniels didn't play.
You beat Washington. But nah, we could be taking preseason out of it, man. It's going to be a fun year. All ends up.
As I say, how the mighty have fallen. They went from Super Bowl champions to hoping that they'll win the division and make the playoffs. That's all I'm saying. You know what I mean?
That's it. Best team on paper because of our collapse.
I'll go back to what I said to my son when he was asking why should I support Atlanta Falcons, and I says to him, you want to be a supporter, you want to support this team when they do it for the first time ever.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. It's not glory hunting if you've had 60 years of not winning. You know what I mean. So when we finally win
it must be hard. Even the Jets won.
I know, and that's something we don't like to admit, but there's some good teams that haven't. I mean, fucking looking around the league, there's some decent teams. Minnesota, Buffalo. There's teams that you could argue are due one before us, but I'm going to get greedy. I want one in the next 3 seasons. So, yeah.
You want one? That one. You had one in your grasp, but
You could say two, but yeah, again, to pull up ancient history is not something we're gonna.
No.
Yeah.
Aye,
rough.
no. We're not getting into that, Louis. This is not getting discussed on this podcast.
And then Julian
Nah,
Edelman with that catch, and
Yeah.
Oh, don't
Yeah.
we don't even speak his name. We will not speak his name. That jumped up little receiver.
He hyped
Nah.
about that preseason game, man. He hyped.
Is
Hell
that
yeah.
is that
Vegas likes us.
the best catch that happened in that game was Julio Jones. That was superhuman catch that he
Yeah,
done.
that is a Madden cheat code in real life. Like, people talk about Megatron, but 2017 Julio is different. Shout out to Darren down in the chat. Always showing love to the gentlemen whenever we get the chance to get on. So we appreciate you always getting down in the chat. If you want to jump on and talk some Cowboys, we've just kind of opened it up and it's went into a bit of
what about the Panthers? They think they're good. I was talking to a
scrimmage.
Panthers fan. They think they're going to win the division.
Oh, Maggie was saying this as well. The Panthers are getting delusional. One of these guys was saying 15-2. It's like, what?
That's what I'm saying. Well,
Wow.
we need to start slapping down these teams. You know what I mean? As
But watch
they
out
talk
for the Saints. They're going to
Like,
be bad for a quarterback.
All due respect, like Louis, you're for once, like we hate the Patriots for obvious reason, but you're not even public enemy number one this season. We get bigger heads.
We are.
even the Aints public enemy number one because they're so far down that we can't even see them.
We've got bigger crowns to come for. Like we'll get even with New Orleans, we'll get even with New England, but we are hunting for.
You can't get even with
bigger game.
You get even with us. You have to win the Super Bowl.
Well, week five, we can kick. Nah, it's making a start by kicking that ass because we'll make sure you don't see the Super Bowl.
You got a long way after that one. 28-3.
Well, we'll be a lot. We might be a long way off, but so are you because yeah, and we might make a Super Bowl. You need to get there too, remember? So that might be 10, 15 years before we're even able to see you in a Super Bowl again. Because we got a good
quarterback. I like
you have a good.
I don't like Williams. Not a fan.
Nah, I agree. I'm not a big Williams fan either, and as I say, all respect to Drake May, he's good.
People are sleeping on us, and they have us in the playoffs this year.
You're like, yeah, as I say, on paper you're not as good as Buffalo, but you may well sneak in. And then, as you say, like when the playoffs come, it's anybody's race. You're 0-0 again. But yeah, as I say, like we all joking and all fun aside, like if we run the South, I'll be happy. But
I don't know. I talked to a Panthers fan. They think they're gonna run it.
It's not gonna happen. Ted McMillan's nice.
All I'm going to say to Louis is, one day you are going to look back in the 2024 draft with the knowledge that you could have took probably one of the best quarterbacks ever to come into this NFL game and Michael Penix Jr. and you decided to go after Drake May. Now,
I'm happy. I like him.
Yeah, but
Fox likes him. ESPN likes him.
Yeah, but have you watched much of Michael Penix Jr.?
No, I haven't. No.
Right. Do me a favor. Go and look at what Michael Penix Jr. done in the last 3 games last year, and what he's been doing in training camp. Now you can't really say in the training camp.
Drake May had a touchdown last night. He rushed in.
Yeah. Then come back in the next show and say whether, if you had a choice, whether you'd keep Drake May or whether.
No, I keep Drake May. I trust the coach. I trust Kraft.
Yeah.
I trust. No, that's my guy.
Fair. We'll see what happens when we go into the season.
He's a Pro Bowl. You can't take that away from him. He won the Pro Bowl.
Yeah, no, I agree in fair play. So when you get the chance, just double check.
Think in the draft again, he probably goes 2 in the redraft.
Yeah,
Jaden Daniels.
Who knows, man? Who knows? But yeah, as I say, now that we've kind of done the free form, we'll probably start wrapping things up. So
yeah, absolutely.
All right.
No, appreciate you coming on. But yeah,
I was enjoying that.
We love having the trolls on. So, well, if you're listening to this, apologies for that. Apologies, guys. But yeah, we'll take the trolls on. We don't mind.
Well, it's not trolls. I mean, listen, they've got they're like us. They've got their support, but I will not have, as I say, in 10 years' time, they're going to look back on the 2024 draft, and they're going to look at how they were at number 3, and they could have took a future Hall of Famer, Michael Penix Jr., and they chose to take Drake May.
Yeah,
and then you're going to look at when Atlanta Falcons took him, how much furore there was and how much uproar there was because they took him. You know what I mean? As I said, have you watched Michael Penix mic'd up?
No, it's one thing I've not watched yet. But I mean, through the way he's talking and pressers and stuff, I mean, we definitely see that. And as you said, like, he's the only voice in the huddle. Which, when you see some of the personalities on that O-line, that says a lot. They know who the leader is, and
listen. The one thing I would say about Michael Penix Jr. is it's no cockiness. This guy knows what he wants. He knows where he wants to be, and he knows when he wants to be there. And I'm telling you that now, he's a quiet. I would call him. He's a quiet assassin. You look at him, and you can just tell that this guy knows where he's going. He knows what career. He's a bit like Deion Saunders. Deion Saunders came into the Atlanta Falcons, and you just knew at that time he was just too big for Atlanta Falcons.
Yeah.
We're at a point where we've drafted a player that we believe is going to be a franchise-changing quarterback. And that's even when we talk about drafting Matt Ryan. But yeah, effectively, we've spoke about it in recent shows about how I believe that Michael Penix Jr. is going to be more mobile this year. Well, the amount of times he's got the ball and he's talking about, I could have dived, I could have dived, I could have dived, I could have got it, I could have got it. And that's him saying that if this was a real game, that was a touchdown. I was going in for a touchdown.
Yeah. I agree.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I mean, as Southside Ricky's saying there in terms of trajectory about Caleb Williams, I'm not sold on Caleb Williams yet. I think he's a good kid. I think he's a really good kid, but I don't think he's as good as Jaden Daniels. And for my money, right now, he's not even probably as good as CJ Stroud. And that's probably saying a lot, but he needs to show me a little bit more. But I mean, trajectory coming out, I know a lot of people held him highly, but this is what I was saying to you, is that I feel like maybe the last 3 seasons, there hasn't been a lot to work with quarterback wise. None of them are as complete as what we have in MPJ. As I say, you might feel some different kind of way, and if you do, then drop it down in the chat and correct me. But that's just how I feel. I feel like QB's been lacking a little bit in these last few draft classes.
Well, again, you look back at the interview when they drafted Michael Penix Jr. and effectively Terry Fontenot and Raheem Morris, in fact, came out and said, "Listen, we don't expect to be in this position again where we are at number 8. It was like, we expect that effectively, if we don't take our franchise quarterback now, we don't feel we're going to get a chance of doing that." You then look at, apart from Cam Ward in this draft, you look at all the teams scrambling, and I mean scrambling to get an average quarterback. Now, that could have been our situation where Terry Fontenot and Raheem Morris sat down and said, "No, yeah, we might get stick, we might get Ferrari, we might get the uproar, but we're taking a franchise quarterback." And they believed, as it was with James Pierce Jr., how they met him the night before. Atlanta Falcons, as far as I know, flew out a week and a half before the draft and worked out Michael Penix in Seattle. And again, they knew who they were getting, and all the media thought it was just a bluff. They'd already signed Kirk Cousins to a $180 million contract. Why are they going to take a quarterback?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
But I like that they know these guys and they go for and they go for them, because I mean a lot of the people, as you know, coming into it, the big spiel was, oh no, they're going JPJ at 15. But it's because we knew who we wanted and we went and worked them out. And it was the same when we had eyes on McGarry and Lindstrom and double dipped, and people had problems with that. It's like, no, because the scouting department knows what they see in these guys. They do their due diligence weeks in advance of the draft. And a lot of the time they don't hold any secrets. The only reason why JPJ fell to 26, well, we all know Jalen Walker was still on the board, and with that kind of quality, you can't turn it down. But the minute the opportunity presented itself to get back in there and get our guy, we did. So yeah,
what I hate is that it's only now. It's as if the Terry Fontenot and Raheem Morris are literally. It's as if they've got a time machine.
Mm-hmm.
As if they're able to go forward and see exactly what's going to happen, but they know that at the time when they're making the decision, it looks really, really bad and it looks really, really terrible. And then you get the uproar. And then effectively, was it the right choice to take Michael Penix Jr. at number 8? No, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Are all the media and the sports media that were so, like, I would say Rich Eisen has come out and said he was wrong. You know what I mean? But as many of the other reporters and all that came out and said we were wrong? No.
No,
and it's the same.
That's why I would give some brownie points to Rich Eisen, because at least he's man enough to go, no, do you know what? As a sportscaster, I'm going to say a lot of things, and it's something that you'll even hear us say. It's the same on any level. As sportscasters, we are going to say some things that are going to prove to be horrendously wrong. But see if that does happen, we'll come out here and say, no, do you know what? I thought this was going to happen and it hasn't. Fair play. And so, no, kudos to Rich Eisen for obviously taking it on his shoulders and going, no, fair enough.
I just hate the bull. I just hate all the garbage that it seems like it's like there's a big bully. It's as if there's a big bully and they look at Atlanta Falcons and everybody laughs. Oh, 28-3, blah, blah, blah. They lost the Super Bowl, so. Then you see people like DeMarco Hellams coming in and going, do you know what? I mean, did you see the picture of him doing the finger and like, I mean, do you know, that's the attitude I want. I want the Sex Pistols, like the punk rock attitude. That's what I want. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Definitely, man.
I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck what you think. Just leave us alone and let us go on, mate. We know what we're going to do, and we're going to show you. And
I hate to go all Will Smith on it, but keep my fucking Falcons out your motherfucking mouth.
Yeah. and then you get Louis coming on and talking about the game that we do not mention, and then you get the Panthers fans all talking about. I mean, that's 16-1. The Panthers are going to go, and it's just. I mean, listen. There's only going to be one team at the end of it all that's going to be happy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I know as we stand now and where we are just now, I'm happy with what this team's done. I'm happy with the players we've got. First team, absolutely fantastic in offense and defense. I like what the defense done last night. You know what I mean? I love the fact that we've got hopefully probably a future Super Bowl winning quarterback. You know what I mean? It just it's all going in the right direction. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think
and as Ricky says with the analysts as well, sorry to jump in there, Des, but as Ricky's saying about the analysts as well, there's certain guys and certain girls who I love the content and I support them to the nth degree. I mean, I've shouted a few of them on here by name, as you know, so but you will see a drop off in terms of the quality and in terms of I hate throwing around the word bias, but just clearly some people who don't always do their due diligence. And as we say, it's why we always try to do our best to give some logic and some backup to what we're saying, even if it might sound some kind of way, because at the end of the day, we don't really give a fuck. we love our Falcons, and we're going to tell you the truth about the Falcons, and that's it, because that's what you want from us. You want the international take, the good, the bad, and the ugly, and that's what we're going to continue to give.
And again, we'll go back to something we were talking about the stadium, right? And again, obviously, the boss lady Maggie saying that there's so much to do in the stadium. Well, see, from my point of view, the main reason you're going to that stadium isn't to look at the stadium, it isn't to buy food, it's to watch the Falcons.
Yeah.
Get your arse in the seat at kickoff.
Yeah, and if you want to do the stadium tour, do that the morning of. Like, if we're coming over, we're spending a day at the Bends. So, yeah, can I do it the way the international guys would do it, I guess, on game day? Like, if we were coming over, we would probably get, I don't know, Des, we'd probably get some brunch and a coffee, stroll down to the Bends, try and take in some of the sights, the sounds, the atmosphere, then maybe do the tour, and then get our food, and then get in our seats. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely. But I mean, again, I'll tell you, I went to the Tottenham Hotspur with the Jets game, and again, I didn't move from my seat. I went to the bathroom beforehand and forced out a pee. I made sure that when I went and I sat in that seat, I was not moving.
Yeah,
and I'd done the same with Wembley.
Well, all credit to the Olympia Stadion. I was just saying all credit then to the Olympia Stadion in Berlin, because they've said that it's meant to be a great facility. I've never had the pleasure of being there myself, but a lot of the German community are saying that it's a very nice stadium for a game. So yeah, hopefully it holds true, and yeah, because there's quite a few of the AFN family that are going over for that. So yeah, let us know what you think, because Germany against the Colts should be fun this year.
And again, me having a rant, this is why I keep on saying, see James Pearce Jr. and DeMarco Helms, let them be what they be. You know what I mean? If DeMarco Helms wants to tackle and hit like that, and I would say that getting flagged for that was garbage. That was never a flag.
No.
You know what I mean? It was shoulder on shoulder. It was never a flag. So,
it was what we'd call a beautiful form hit, and it's also what I says to you when I showed you. I sent you that video of Ray Lewis and Adrian Peterson, and I said, this is what it's all about. Smack a guy as hard as you can in safe places, then help him to his feet, but let him know that he's been hit, like, by all means.
And that's why this coaching staff just needs to let them play the way they play. No holding back, no effectively trying to manipulate or change James Pearce Jr. and what he does. You know what I mean? Let him be him. If we get a couple of penalties now and again, so be it. You know what I mean? He's going to give us more sacks than penalties.
Yeah, I guess so. That's 100% a good way of looking at it. And then, as you say, you boil it back down to kind of another two of our talking points for the season as a whole, so to speak. It's kind of culture and scheme fit. And if your culture and scheme fit is a bunch of guys who just want to fly around and knock people's heads off, I'm fine with that. Yeah. I'll embrace that to the cows come home. But yeah.
But again, you've seen Raheem Morris coming out in the press or saying that James Pearce Jr. had never had a penalty or a unsportsmanlike penalty at all in every college game he played.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's something to be said for playing hard but playing fair. And that's what I've said to you before. I can't remember if it was on a show, but it might have just been in the chat. But I said something about I'm fine as long as he can balance the heat with the discipline. As long as he can stay disciplined with it, so we're not getting too many flags, then I would be happy with it. Yeah. But yeah, as I say, I'm not going to complain that he's coming in and ready to fight, because I love it. And as he says, it's Keanu Neal vibes. Keanu would be down on his knees going, nah, nice hit, brother. Nice hit, brother.
Again, the guy retired at the start of this year. You know what I mean? And again, DeMarco Helms is probably going to have 5 or 6 good seasons. If he's playing like that, he's not going to have 10 years. You know what I mean? But hopefully in the 5 or 6 years, we give them a couple of rings. You know what I mean? So
I really hope so. But yeah, you're here for a good time, maybe not for a long time, but at the same time, we love the heat and we love that everybody's getting behind it. So we just need to do everything we can as a team to get behind these guys, to finish, to make sure we are there when they lift that trophy for the first time.
absolutely.
But
I just get really mad with, honestly. I hate the bullshit around this team sometimes, and the garbage they get. I just want them to prove everybody wrong, so that we can sit here and say, do you know what? He's every one he's doubted us. He's belittled us at every point for years and years and years, and we're now showing you what it's all about. You know what I mean?
Yep.
I just want to shove it down their throats. You know what I mean?
Yeah. As you say, after decades of mediocrity, time to rise up, don't you think? 60 years is long enough. But yeah, now that we've kind of spoken about it, we've broken down the game in a bit more detail and things like that. Just before we do get into the fan appreciation and touching back home and closing things out, just a reminder that we're always looking for new members. So you can contact myself, you can contact Des, you can contact Maggie. We're always looking for new people to join the Kilted Revolution for the new shows. So especially now that it's 2 a week, so we're going to balance it out well. Touching stateside on Saturdays, Thursdays is for the international family. As I say, there's always room to grow back into the 3 shows if you like what you see. So keep the red and blacks coming, the chats, the comments. We love it. And at the end of the day, touch base, not just home in Scotland, but all the way across the world for the international fans, to be the flagship, to kind of to be the ones that are responsible for helping grow this brand around the world. We can't obviously thank you enough for giving us this platform and for all the love and support that you continue to show every show. So thank you so much. But yeah, Des, as always, then my man, where can they get at you in terms of your socials and things like that?
Well, if they want another rant, they can watch me next Thursday at 8:30 our time, 3:30 Eastern time in Atlanta. Or they can follow me on Twitter at just look out for Scottish Falcon. I don't have Discord. I don't have anything else. I'm mainly on X.
Oh, good. And as for myself, I'm on X. As Des says, I'm on X doing a lot of the reposts and socials. I'm on here. I'm on TikTok now, Facebook. So it'll be at Will the Thrill Waddle. You'll either find it spelt as Phil, WADDEELL, or you'll find it WAD-L. Either way, as I say, get at me if you've any topics. If you want to join the team, we're more than happy to have you on. And as I say, let's make this the most successful season, not just for the Atlanta Falcons, but for the Atlanta Falcons nation. So keep on showing love to all the creators. So special shout out to all the teams that you've seen over the last few days. Because yeah, we're looking to make it a special season all around. As we say, grow this thing from Atlanta to the world. And in closing, as always, pain is international, but so is passion. So from the bottom of our hearts, thank you for the continued support. And until next week, keep it here. Keep it ATL.
Bye, guys.
Much love. Peace.